Hey there, it's Hoang with CHC Secrets. How's everyone doing today? It's basically the first week of summer for the kids here in Miami. And believe it or not, I've got 4 kids in the house and it's super quiet. I don't know what they're doing. They're probably on electronics. I'm not going to complain. I've had a computer crash, and so sort of working a little bit from home. So I was hoping that, it wouldn't be too crazy. So, hey there, just wanted to see who can join. I seriously need to tell people when I'm going live and stuff like that, so people have an opportunity to watch. But I do know that I'll be posting this on the IGTV so that everyone can kind of watch it on the replay. So anyway, just wanted to come on and say hi to everybody. I was just listening to a podcast and it had a great message, and I thought I'd share with you because one of the most common questions I get when it comes to orthosis, fabrication, or splinting, I use those words interchangeably. I mean, I just do. I know that technically you're not supposed to use splinting, but I do. Because people still in the medical community, hand surgeons, patients, and stuff like that, they still understand that. So anyway, I get that question a lot. Like, how do you get started with splinting, or how do you just get better at it? Because a lot of people, they feel somewhat intimidated by it. Maybe you only got to practice like one time when you were in school, so it's sort of hard when you are put in a position where you have a patient now and all of a sudden someone's ordering for you to make a splint. Well, one of the biggest things I would recommend is just to get started. I mean, how many times you hear that, just to get started. I got started back to doing yoga a few months ago, and it's hard to get started, right? Like anyone who's going on a fitness journey, whether it's to lose weight or get stronger or get more firm or anything like that, it's really hard to get started. So why is splinting or anything like that any different? It's not. So it's really just about getting started and just doing it. Just get some material. I mean, you might not work in an environment that allows you to practice on patients, but why not practice at home just to get started? Whether it be scraps of material, whether it be just a cut. I always tell my students that, like, you don't have to make anything. If you can just get comfortable with learning a little bit about the material, maybe about the properties, how it feels in your hands, how it feels when you're cutting, that's just one way of getting started. Let's not think and overthink, like, wait, let's go beyond and say I've got to now do something I haven't done in a while or haven't ever done using material, handling the material. Now I've got to cut it, I've got to get the right pattern, and I've got to form it the right way on a surgical patient or in someone who's painful, But why? Why do we have to mentally start there? We can start anywhere where you're comfortable. And what I find is a lot of people are just really intimidated by the material, and they're just not really sure how to handle it. They're not sure how to touch it. They're not sure how to cut it. Just start there. It's such a huge, important skill as occupational therapists, and especially if you're any interested in doing hands. It's an important skill to have, and it's an important skill to develop. And we don't just get our skills out of nowhere. It's not like you just magically do. I mean, some people have a little bit more of a knack than others, but just because you're not naturally good doesn't mean you can't learn, doesn't mean you can't practice. So that's the biggest thing. Just getting started, picking up a piece of material, just pull it, stretch it, touch it, put some dents in it. If you want, put it back in the water, let it cool down, put it back in the water, and get comfortable just cutting. Cut a small piece and then cut a big piece, and then you can easily do that with certain materials that you might find are scraps or whatever. When I teach my classes, I always have people save their scraps and practice cutting there, because it's so important. As soon as you learn how to cut and how to handle material, I just think it's so much easier, and then you worry less about like how pretty it looks, or are there pen marks, or there indents, or there whatever. It's really insignificant in the scheme of things, but if you can just get started to develop a skill that you don't have, be comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Just get in there and get started. And then as you practice, as you get started, as you get better, you're going to feel more confident about it. And that's pretty much what I'm striving to do with my splint course that I'm developing. It's just to get you started. It's going to give you all the tools that you need to be successful. I'm building in a couple of things that's going to help you be successful. But if you don't want to take an online class, or if you like other classes better, they're in your local area, or there's so many different avenues nowadays. But the key thing is just to make a commitment to get started. And once you get that practice, and once you get better, you're gonna feel so good. It's kind of like working out, kind of slow to get started, but when you do, you feel pretty good. So anyway, that is my message today, to just get started. All right, guys, I will hopefully see you later on this week. I'm gonna promise to try much harder to let you know when I'm coming on live, and I want you guys to leave me comments, send me messages, ask me questions, and I'm gonna answer them for you. Somebody asked me a question on biomechanics. If you're not on my email list, get on my email list, because I'm gonna send out a video talking specifically about body mechanics when you're working with patients. And there's so many different body mechanic things to consider, especially as a hand therapist. There are really specific ones to make sure that your hands and arms, take care of you for the longevity of your career, because I plan to work forever. All right, guys, thanks for joining me, and I shall talk to you later. Bye.